Is Jack Smith building conspiracy theories against Donald Trump, or does he really have hundreds and hundreds of charges going on? Is it true that one of America's loved presidents, Trump, used a fake voter during the 2020 elections? It's not just the political world, but all of us are pretty much curious to know what the real truth is. Some top Democrats claim that Trump might have an indictment for the charges he did. Let's dig deep and find out. In case you didn't know yet, Special Counsel Jack Smith's 2 federal investigations regarding the former President Donald Trump are nearly about to end. The first investigation focused on Trump's attempts to reverse Joe Biden's election victory, and second, on Trump's secret handling of classified information. Donald Trump, who is the prime subject of our matter, has, however, denied any wrongdoings. But at the end of the day, it'll all depend on Jack Smith if the Republican president will be facing criminal charges or not. When the US publication Just Security began keeping track of any serious criminal and civil cases involving Donald Trump 2 years ago, little did they know that they'd find out about 23 criminal cases in addition to 13 civil lawsuits. Yeah, that's a lot of crime to be committed by someone with the title of president. It could seem as though Trump has been under investigation for years with no real results. However, there are certain reasons why this time might be different. Number 1 is that the Justice Department's policy no longer protects Trump from prosecution. Additionally, a federal judge stated a year ago that Trump's attempt to rig the election constituted criminal lawbreaking. Similarly, we now have enough evidence against Trump's every single crime activity. After all, Jack Smith was a former war crimes prosecutor. It is obvious that whatever he found out was real and not just a conspiracy theory, unlike some people claim it to be. The world needs to know the bad things Trump did, and he should be held accountable for it. Jamie Raskin, an American attorney, commented in an interview released by MSNBC that there was some overwhelming evidence that indictment was likely. He said, "It's almost inevitable that there will be charges because the evidence is just so overwhelming. If he were to somehow escape the grasp of the criminal justice system here, this would be a painful thing for the country and for millions of people who held on to the idea that we have one system of justice." Raskin continued by claiming that Trump might ultimately have his comeuppance at the local or state level first, especially considering that the former president was facing civil and probable criminal proceedings in numerous places around the nation while referring to him as a one-man crime wave. Raskin explained, "He's facing a lot of other criminal charges and civil charges around the country. He's basically a one-man crime wave, and so he might get his comeuppance in some other jurisdictions first. I don't know about that, but ultimately, we have to believe that the justice system is going to work." Raskin, who had previously stated that it was impossible to determine who'd done it regarding Trump's involvement in the tragic riot, said it would be upsetting for the nation if Trump was never brought to justice. And it doesn't make sense that more than 900 people can be charged and prosecuted and convicted and sentenced for things like assaulting federal officers and destroying federal property and seditious conspiracy, which means conspiracy to overthrow the government, and yet the guy who's at the very top of the pyramid, who set all the events in motion, somehow walks off scot-free. I mean, I think that's a blow to our justice system, he added. But even if an indictment were to happen, that would not be the end of the story. There would be trial or trials and several legal challenges brought by Trump's staff. Trump's 2024 presidential campaign is most likely unstoppable by anyone other than voters. But despite talk of his recent political difficulties, he continues to dominate a crowded GOP field in nearly all polls. Man, it's crazy that he still manages to do that. All we know so far is that in the most recent hearing, Trump pleaded not guilty to all 34 felony acquisitions of falsifying business records brought against him, all of which centered around his role in paying Stormy Daniels, a porn star who claimed to have an affair with him. Even if that were to be set aside and he still gets an indictment for everything he did, the Constitution does not claim presidents to be exempt from indictment, conviction, or imprisonment, meaning Trump can still run the 2024 campaigns. Do you think Trump should get the charges? Also, here's a parallel thought. Jamie Raskin should become America's next president. What do you think, folks? Let us know in the comments below. And for more such freshly brewed political content, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned.